So Python basics. We'll be covering why Python. Why do we have to look at Python? How to install Python briefly. Python syntax, core data types, functions, booleans, conditions, statements, working with lists, and a little bit about data analysis. Now, this is going to be a brief class, and I'll try to make it as fundamental as possible. My goal here is not to teach you the like holistical everything about Python. It's just, you know how we say who is a living being, and then everybody say Mr. Ninja D. So I'll try as much as possible to make you see that Python is something that everybody can do. And literally, you really don't have to have a special IQ or study computer science. It's just have a project and you can do it. So why Python? Why is Python very popular? Python is one of the most popular computer languages we have because one is very readable. So with Python, a computer language is basically something you use to converse with a computer because they understand English, but how they function, they understand some specific codes. So when we try to like converse with them, we use what we call some computer language. We have Python, C, Java, and all of that. But with the Python language, Python is very easy, like because it looks close to plain English, so it's not very complicated. It is something that you can achieve a whole humongous task with very few lines of code. It's very versatile in the sense that we can use it for a lot of things, data analysis, AI, ML, web apps, automation, every single thing possible. Python has like a very, very big, like if you learn Python, you have been equipped with something you can use and do a lot of things, and then it's well supported. Particularly, I like Python because of it has a very large community. So I have never had a problem with coding and then there is no an answer for it. And that's very, very advantageous because with some languages, because there are fewer community, you might be stuck and then you stuck yourself. But just ask, like just if you have an issue, just copy the code, post it on Google, you just don't read it or something. Somebody definitely has had that problem before, so it's community. How to install Python? I have said something about it in the group before. So we have um a lot of ways you can use Python in your system. Me particularly, I use IDE because for me it's more easier. So we have Jupyter VS Studio Code. If you follow what I said in the group chat, you should be able to download. If not, you can reach out to me whenever. So we'll be starting with Python syntax. So names are case sensitive. I wrote that age and age are different. And then when writing variables are function, there should be no space in between. And by that, I mean, if I want to say name is equals to goodness, this is very valid. My name is equals to goodness is not valid because there is a space in between. So Python does not recognize this. Let me show you. Invalid syntax. A way to correct this is a block and then this flies. So also with Python, goodness and goodness, let me, my name is not equals to goodness, sorry, good, hmm? Now, this goodness and goodness, Python recognizes it as two different things. So that's something we actually have to take note of. So the examples I wrote here is age is equals to 25, name, Ada, school name, UNN, and then Python has stipulated, like has stored in his memory that wherever it sees age, it's going to associate it with 25. Wherever it sees name, now it's going to associate it with Ada, and then school name is UNN. Another thing to learn about, apart from the Python indentation, now indentations are very important because they are used to define blocks. So for instance, if we say x is equals to 5, that means that Python has associated that wherever it sees x, it's going to equate it to 5. So if I want to use this thing to write something, I can say if x is greater than 0, print x is equals to positive. Print this line is still inside the if block. Then outside of the indentation spaces, you can say this line is outside the if block. So here we see that X recognizes this if block fulfills what, because X is equals to 5, we can say that X is greater than 0. So that's why it's able to print X is equals to positive and all of that. Now look at what will happen if I remove the indentation. It's still going to print it either way, but how would I do this now? Print X's. Okay, so this line, this particular this particular indentation is totally different from the indentation we have before, because it's like, how would I put it? If you are going to the market and then you say, if I have up to 500, then I can buy some goods. So whenever you see an indentation, it's like it's like a stipulation, it's like a rule. So wherever we put indentation in Python, we are using it to define that this particular row, this particular row has to be positive for anything inside the indentation to work. I don't know if is do I make the let me call is it clear to you?
Damn good teacher. Continue.
Okay. So comments in Python, we use comments in Python to explain and clarify what we mean. So in order to do comments, you can do the hashtag. So for example, a single line comment, x is equals to 10. So use the hashtag to explain that this assigns 10 to the variable x. And then we have multi-line comments is done to explain most likely a function, which I'm still going to discuss later. So it's like trying to give more explanation to something that is more complex, but the single line is just like simple clarification and it's very helpful, especially for outside community. So we have core data types in Python. So data types are what Python recognizes as valid. So we have integers in Python, which is whole numbers. We have floats, which is decimals. We have strings, which is text. And then we have booleans. Booleans, when I was learning Python, booleans was kind of a bit confusing for me because I mean, true or false should be a text now. So why is it the particular data type? So Python recognizes booleans as a data type and is either to true or false. I gave some examples. A is 42, B is -7. If we print A or B, to print the like to know the type of the data type that A and B is, it's you can use the type function So it gave us 42.7, and we see that the class, the data type associated with A and B is integers and floats. Same thing with strings here. Strings is text, like I said earlier. First name Ada, last name Lovelace, print full name, print type full name. And we see the class here is string. I feel like this class is just heavily theoretical. So this is an example of Boolean. So Boolean is just true or false. Has the student paid? Is 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 student is just is there a student? True. Has the student paid? False. And then class is Boolean. So we can say is X greater than is X greater than Y? Uh, let me write it in another place so it'll be clearer. So we see that X is 10, right? Y is 20. So I'm writing to Python. Is X greater than Y? And we see that the answer is false. This is a Boolean. Okay, I already wrote it somewhere here. True is X equals to Y, false. So the if condition, the else condition is a very important um structure in Python because it helps us to put conditional statements. So we have a score that is 72. And now I'm telling Python that if score is greater than 70, let the grade be A. Or else, if it is greater than 60, please grade B. Or else, if it is greater than 50, please grade C. Or else, grade F. So with this conditional statement, if L, we can tell Python what exactly we want. So since the score is 72, it was able to grade A. This is another example where this particular person has age 19 and has an ID. So if age is great, I'm telling Python that if age is greater than 18 and this person has an ID, please print allowed or else print not allowed. Let me hashtag this. So this because this fulfilled my block because the person's age I'm looking at is 19 and the condition I gave this is if the age is greater than 18 and if this person has an ID that the person can be allowed and that's what it's printed. This is another example. If if is it raining? False. So we know that that there's no rain going on. And I'll say if it is not raining, that's the meaning of this. If it is not raining, print you can go outside. What do you think is going to print here? You can go outside. So
So,
the if
so can we
else
go outside now?
so the if else statement is a very important structure in Python because it helps us do a lot of things. Functions. So functions in Python is helps us to define something based on our means. So there are a lot of things you may have to do with Python that you need. I want to create something that is going to greet somebody. So the name of my function is greet. Now what return does is whenever I say greet, is going to return hello, whoever I want to greet. So that's why I wrote define. Now, DEF is something we use to define a function. So the structure is DEF, then function name, then parameters. Parameters is whatever you put inside that the function is going to do. So define greet name, and I want this function to return hello, whatever I input in it. So greet, I want for as an example. So whenever I write greet goodness, hello goodness, and then if I don't want to greet goodness again and I want to greet everyone, I'll not be like writing it hello like consecutively. I'll just say greet everyone, and that's it. This is another example of a function. So I wrote a function that will, any value I incorporate inside this function, it is to return the minimum of this function and the maximum of this function. So for instance, these are my numbers, 4, 10, minus 2, 7. Please, Titus, if it's 10 minutes, 5 minutes, be telling me 4, 10, minus 2, 7. So it's going to return the the list of my values and the max of my values. So according to this thing, the minimum is minus 2, the maximum is minus 10. And this is very useful because whenever I now want to do this thing, I just need to call this function wherever it is, and then we're able to solve this equation for me. I know all of these things might, especially for people that have not really started, might be a little bit complex. But like I said, I just want to teach you Mr. Niger D, right? So anywhere you see function or wherever you see Boolean, or at least you know you have heard something about it somewhere, and all you need actually is just foundational knowledge, and then you can build something really amazing. So another fundamentals we're going to look at is list. So a list in Python helps to store things particularly, and I love list. I'm like my most favorite things in Python because it makes work so much easier for everybody. So for instance, um, look at it like a basket or something you can just group things together. So one thing you need to know about list is that it starts with a bracket, like a square bracket. We have a lot of other things that is not square brackets, but just now focus on list. So for instance, I created a list that has numbers in it, 10, 20, 30, 40. So wherever I call numbers, it's always going to give me 10, 20, 30, 40. And then I created another list that is Python is fun. So if I write print numbers, it's going to give me
Sorry,
this number. Okay.
sorry, goodness, you have less than 5 minutes.
It's not true. It's not possible. You did not tell me on time. I disagree. So anyway, so what one thing list can do for you is that it helps to you can modify a lot of things. So in this place now, sorry, let me just print this. Every list has a number attached to it. So this number 10 now is 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you want to modify number 1 equals to 25, let me write another block so that it's easier. So if I should print number now, okay, we see that 25 has occupied where 1 is supposed to be. We can append. Append is just to add things in the list of number. We can also insert 5 at 0. So we can do a lot. We can manipulate the list to favor us. So it's one of the things that is very useful in Python. We can also loop through a list. Looping through a list is just to go through the list. So for instance, this is a list that contains mango, orange, banana. So I can say for fruit in fruit. For fruit in fruit just means for every fruit inside this list. Print I like fruit. So it means that for every fruit, so for mango now, it's going to print I like mango. For orange, it's going to print I like orange. for banana is going to print I like banana. And you don't need to say for fruit in fruit. You can say for S in fruit or for whatever a fruit. It does not really matter. What this does is just to look through the list. I like mango, I like orange, I like banana. So I wrote something that will really help us practice. So one key thing I'm going to try and let, at least even though you don't get anything from all the whole English I've been speaking today, one thing you have to learn is that you cannot do Python without practicing it. Just like with every language we have, even human languages, no matter how good you are in comprehension, no matter how good you are in understanding, if you don't say it out, you will never be able to speak the language. So, and with every other thing, if you're learning something and then it feels complex, try doing it yourself, and you see that it's not as complex as people um made it to be. So I wrote a mini practice, create a list of 5 numbers, write a function that returns the average of the list, and then use an if statement to print pass and whatever. I'm going to send this thing maybe to the group chat later so we can all practice this. So the first step, like I said, download Jupyter and maybe try and do this. And if you cannot understand, just create a list of 5 numbers and paste it in ChatGPT and say that I'm learning Python. Like you've tried on your own and you see that you cannot do it. Copy it. This is for an example, and use it or copy it and paste in ChatGPT and say, I cannot create a list of 5 numbers. Please explain to me as a child how to create a list of 5 numbers with Python. And then it explains to you and all of that. You'll not tell it, okay, give me an example I can do or something like that. And that's how you learn and that's how you practice. And from there, you'll be able to build something much more complex. And then there are a lot of videos on YouTube. There are a lot of resources out there that can help you like practice. So I'm just going to run through data analysis because this is the very like this. I feel like this is why we're here, right? Because we're using Python as a means. So Python, like I said, has a lot of libraries that is very, very useful. And one of them, we have pandas for tabular data manipulation, NumPy, Matplotlib, Seaborn. And then one of the ones that I know is very useful for us is MD. There's actually a library called MD Analysis and it's very, very useful to plot for molecular dynamics and trajectories. So I used an example to plot something. Wait, okay, sorry. I'll have to um put the input this thing. I don't know what happened. So I'm going to try and plot something just as an example. So in this data, in this um table, this is the students, this is the hours they studied, and then this is the number of tests that they practice, and then this is their score. So you can use pandas. Okay, for instance, there's a whole lot of things in I honestly cannot teach pandas in 30 minutes, even if I try. But at least you know what pandas is. So you can maybe write it down and then, study it yourself. But with pandas, we can do a lot of things. We can look at the data more particularly. We can get the information of the data. We see that they are like no null objects. We see that they are float integers object that we are dealing with. We can describe the data, get their mean, whatever, whatever. We can also transform the data using pandas as well. Then we can plot the graph. So I used Seaborn, which is a library. So library in Pandas and in Python is just like, library in real life where you just have to, if you need something, you can just go to the library and pick it. So how to get it, just import Seaborn and then you'll be able to use Seaborn. So now you know what Seaborn is, you know what Matplotlib is. So you just go and, write it down somewhere so that you can build on it as well. So you see that with this, I could plot something like this, and this just kind of showed us the relationship between the score people have and the hours of study that they put in. And even though there's a relationship, there's a regression plot, there's a relationship here, we can also see that it's not just at least from this plot, we can see that even though our study is is very important, it's not just hours, because we see some people that are really putting like strong hours here, and then they're actually getting low score. So from this plot, you can see that, and that's what Python can help us do. So I also tried doing something with MD library. Um, so like with everything you import, you have to like with everything you import MD analysis, and with this I could be able to plot an RMSD um plot using MD analysis. So what I'm going to employ every one of us to do is, like I said, if you're a beginner, like an absolute beginner in Python, the first thing you have to do is download any of your IDE of your trace. I highly recommend Jupyter because, I mean, it's easier. That's what I learned it. So you can start with practicing lists, practicing structure, practicing functions, just as from the practice, and then try to do like you don't need to practice too much. Maybe a week is enough of it. You don't need to learn every nook and cranny. Just know the fundamentals, and maybe plot an RMSD plot. Just try and do something with it. I really